and left me with Jeffreys at an ancient inn. On the 4th evening of my stay, I strolled with Jeffreys to a large hill, whose seaward side is perfectly precipitous, but which is easily climbed landward by a winding sheep path. When I had reached the summit, I threw myself on the grass and rested for a while, gazing at the misty outline of man. Then, when my dimmed eyes had cleared, I turned and saw, high on the side of a far distant inland hill, an enormous building, which at first appeared on fire, for the westering sun struck full on the great square windows. A grove of majestic trees gloomed to the left, and a park, besprinkled with herds of deer, sloped downwards to the furthermost recess of the estuary. A shepherd was training a dog near the place where I sat. Regardless of Jeffreys' deprecations, I called to him, and inquired the name of the house. "Furnival Castle, young sir. Lady Barbara Verrill's place," he replied. "What?" I cried. "Tell me all about it. Have you ever been there? What is it like?" Before he could answer, Jeffreys interposed. "Come, Master Rafe. It is growing chill. We shall have Dr. Pulteney here if you take cold." But I took no heed of him, and despite his attempted hindrance, obtained all the necessary information concerning the way. An evil desire to disobey my father filled me, and it seemed as if the glamour of the house had cast a spell over me, and as I was hurried away by Jeffreys, I resolved to take advantage of him in the early morning, and to visit Lady Barbara. I slept little that night, but lay watching the dawn creep over the sea, and listening to the plaintive chirping of birds. As the cracked bell of Marlborough St. Mary's struck 6, I sprang from my bed, dressed hurriedly, and after a quiet laugh at the thought of what Jeffreys' consternation would be when he discovered my absence, I slipped from the house and followed the path the shepherd had described. It led through a long wood of small trees, matted with bracken and sedge, and crossed by many rivulets that ran down to the sea. There was much honeysuckle, so sweet that life grew absolutely perfect. I gathered a large bunch, wherein lay many bees, and chanting extempore rhymes, I hurried onwards. When I reached the terrace of Furnival, it was nearly breakfast time. The hall door, half opened, revealed a vista of ancient pictures. As I knocked there timidly, an ancient servant man in fawn livery appeared. Something, perhaps my resemblance to my father, amazed him, and he bade me enter at once. "I wish to see Lady Barbara Verelst," I said. He ushered me into a small white-panelled room. "Her ladyship will be with you very soon," he replied. Meanwhile, I arranged the honeysuckle in a large china dish. As I was doing this, a slight noise disturbed me, and looking up I saw a white-frocked little girl eyeing me very intently. A black Persian cat lay in her arms, rubbing its head on her shoulder. "Cousin Mary!" I cried. The child dropped the cat and ran forward to bring her tiny mouth to mine. But even as she kissed, footsteps came, and she drew back, alarmed. I took the honeysuckle and flung it all into her apron, and she, as if fearing to be seen, made for another door and disappeared. Then Lady Barbara entered. There was nothing of the patrician in her appearance. Clad in a plain brown dress with a narrow collar of lace, she might well have passed for a housekeeper who had no liking for bright colour. Her face was round and russet, with a broad low forehead that was covered with an intricate network of wrinkles. Her eyes were small and sherry-coloured, and her teeth, which, as I heard afterwards, were natural, glistened like regular pieces of ivory. Altogether, she struck me as a sharp, bargain-driving countrywoman, with a good deal of craft, and an underlying vein of sarcastic humour. As she saw me, she curtsied very low. "So, you are Ralph, or Rafe, as I love best to say it," she said. "Well, you are very welcome here, although your father and I got across at our last meeting. But I suppose he has thought better of my proposal and sent you now." Here she looked at her watch, a massive gold and crystal globe that swung from her girdle. "The girl is a long time," she exclaimed. Before I could open my mouth